Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 574 based on novel. So let's start. The heavens and earth trembled and the giant stairs seemed to lead to heaven itself. Wang Lin stood on the first step of the staircase like a celestial god. His fluttering, white hair gave him a sense of elegance. He lowered his head and his gaze swept the ground. Finally, his gaze fell on Yang Lu's peak and the disciple who Yang Lu's divine sense had taken over. The female disciple trembled and revealed a look of shock. Yang Lu felt like her divine sense was going to be knocked out of the female disciple. If Wang Lin's gaze lingered a bit longer, her divine sense would be knocked away. She had never felt this kind of feeling before. Even though old ancestor Green Bull could also do it, this aura made Yang Lu feel different. At this instant, from Yang Lu's point of view, this Wang Lin was no longer the same Wang Lin she had met. This feeling was clearly different. Indeed, they were the same people, but they brought two different kinds of shock. She wasn't the only one shocked. Every cultivator who met Wang Lin's gaze felt their mind rumble and would retreat. They all had the terrifying feeling of their origin souls being blasted out of their bodies. Regardless of cultivation level, whether it was the lowest disciples, the elders of the sect, and even those old monsters, everyone felt the same thing, that their origin soul was going to separate from their body. All of this was because of Wang Lin's terrifying gaze. There was also old ancestor Green Bull in the green heavenly peak. After Wang Lin looked at Yang Lu, he immediately looked over there. When esteemed Green Bull's gaze met Wang Lin's gaze, his expression changed greatly. His body trembled and green gas appeared behind him to form his essence true body. Wang Lin's gaze soon disappeared, but esteemed Green Bull still felt his heart trembling, and his eyes filled with shock. That gaze was ruthless, indifferent, as if the entire world was below his feet and should worship him. Old ancestor esteemed Green Bull had not been to the royal capital of the ancient countries. If he had seen that towering statue of the ancient ancestor, then he would have a familiar feeling. The aura of Wang Lin's huge shadow in the sky was shockingly similar to the ancient ancestor's aura, but there were some differences on the details. This? What happened to him? This person is definitely not Wang Lin. Who is he? Esteemed Green Bull's face was pale and he rushed out from the cave. He stood outside, and his expression was very serious. In the sky, Wang Lin's giant shadow withdrew his gaze and closed his eyes. Esteemed Green Bull didn't know Wang Lin's secret and didn't know that it was also Wang Lin. However, that shocking aura came from Wang Lin's avatar. The moment Wang Lin closed his eyes, he raised his foot and calmly took a step. When his step landed, a thunderous rumble echoed. The illusion of the stairs trembled as if it couldn't withstand Wang Lin. It was as if Wang Lin's step had come out of the distant void instead. Forget the Soul Scripture Pavilion, it felt like not even the Great Soul Sect or even the entire Green Bull continent could withstand this step. When the thunderous rumble echoed, Wang Lin took another step. He didn't stop, but he didn't rush either. He was very calm and walked up the stairs as if this was his home. The third step, fourth step, fifth step. Everyone in the Great Soul Sect silently watched him climb up 15 steps. He had climbed those 15 steps without pausing at all, as if the restrictions on the steps were insignificant to him. This scene caused the disciples of the Great Soul Sect to turn pale. It shocked all the old monsters in closed-door cultivation. Old ancestor Green Bull gasped. Yang Lu's divine sense in the female disciple shook and she almost lost control. She clenched her fist until her nails dug into her flesh and blood started dripping. The world rumbled. Wang Lin raised his foot with his eyes closed. He stepped onto the 16th step, then the 17th step. On the 18th step, he suddenly opened his eyes. A heavenly pressure spread out from his eyes and shrouded the earth below. Anyone who saw him lowered their head and didn't dare to meet his gaze. Yang Lu's divine sense that was inside one of her disciples trembled. It was as if her divine sense was about to be expelled from the body. Yang Lu, I won. A calm voice echoed across the world just before Wang Lin took the last step and stepped onto the 19th step. He arrived on the 8th floor of the Soul Scripture Pavilion. The moment his words echoed, the female disciple Yang Lu's divine sense had taken over trembled. Her divine sense slowly dissipated. The female disciple retreated a few steps, and her eyes were filled with confusion. At this moment, the entire Great Soul sect became deathly silent. However, soon, a huge uproar spread across the entire sect. He succeeded. He broke through the 7th and 8th floors back to back. Elder Wang has actually entered the 8th floor. His gaze was simply too terrifying. I have never encountered a gaze like that from any cultivator. In the green heavenly peak, old ancestor Green Bull looked at the illusion as it slowly disappeared. His expression continued to change until he revealed a complicated expression. In the Soul Scripture Pavilion, Yang Lu, who was on the 6th floor, lost all color on her face. Her body trembled as she silently stood at the entrance to the stairs to the 7th floor. The good in her hand seemed to be surrounded by a powerful force to take it away. However, at this moment, Yang Lu clenched her teeth and held onto the good, resisting that force. Oh? Are you going to break the bet? As Yang Lu grasped the gourd, Wang Lin's voice came from the 8th floor above. At the same time, footsteps echoed above Yang Lu. The moment Wang Lin walked into the 8th floor, he turned around to walk down. After successfully entering the 7th and 8th floors once, he could go up and down as he wished. Going up and down the stairs would no longer cause the illusion to appear, and no one outside could see what was happening. However, Yang Lu felt like a powerful being was descending from the 8th floor. The creaking sounds of footsteps echoed inside the Soul Scripture Pavilion. Wang Lin slowly walked down the stairs and soon arrived on the 7th floor. You made the bet but want to break it. I didn't ask for this bet, you did. Wang Lin's voice was calm, reaching Yang Lu's ears from the 7th floor. Yang Lu's pupils shrank and she saw Wang Lin's right foot land on the staircase. From her position, she could not see Wang Lin, only his right foot. When Wang Lin's foot landed, Yang Lu felt like she was facing the entire world. Are you sure you want to break it? Wang Lin slowly walked down the stairs, and his voice was filled with a sense of majesty. His voice seemed to override the restrictions here and was beyond the law of the immortal astral continent as it descended on the Great Soul sect. As Wang Lin continued to walk down, his legs and body slowly appeared in her eyes. Are you sure? Answer me. Wang Lin landed on the 9th step, revealing his body. His words were calm, but they echoed like thunder. Yang Lu's face was calm and she retreated several steps. Her eyes revealed panic. At this moment, she forgot her own cultivation level and felt like an ant before Wang Lin. And Wang Lin didn't look like Wang Lin to her. Who are you? There were bloodlines in Yang Lu's eyes and her voice was almost hoarse. Wang Lin was using the power of his avatar to suppress Yang Lu. After completely suppressing her, he would leave a crack in her Tao heart. In the future, when they encountered each other, she would have a fear of him. As a result, this woman would no longer be a threat to him in the future. There was no deep hatred between them, and Wang Lin didn't want to destroy her Tao heart. In the future, this woman could cultivate normally, but she would fear Wang Lin and would avoid becoming his enemy. Hand it over. Wang Lin descended once more and walked down 2 more steps. He casually raised his right hand. However, Yang Lu felt like those 2 steps had smashed into her heart. She felt like the world had collapsed and was pressing down on her. If she didn't follow Wang Lin's order, she would be crushed to death by the world. While trembling, the light in Yang Lu's eyes seemed to scatter. She could not bear this pressure in her heart. At this moment, the pressure from Wang Lin caused her to feel endless fear. Her right hand slowly loosened and the gourd flew out of her hand and into Wang Lin's palm. Wang Lin's eyes were calm but were shining brightly. This was his first time borrowing the full aura of his avatar and using it to suppress someone. The power of this aura shocked him too. Wang Lin grabbed the gourd in his hand, turned around, and walked up the stairs back to the 7th and 8th floors. He was still going to choose a spell. It wasn't until Wang Lin had disappeared from Yang Lu's vision that the terrifying feeling slowly disappeared. Yang Lu's body softened and she retreated a few steps. Her heart felt bitter and she had a complicated expression. Wang Lin slowly returned to the 8th floor. This place was covered in dust, as if no one had come here in a long time. This place was not large, it had 9 7-inch soul bodies emitting a soft glow. These 9 soul bodies contained 9 extremely powerful Tao spells of the Great Soul Sect. Each one could destroy the world. On the 8th floor of the Soul Scripture Pavilion, the shocking aura on Wang Lin's body slowly dissipated until it was gone and went back to the avatar in the void. Wang Lin didn't want to use too much power from the avatar. He would use just the right amount and not waste any. There was no benefit to using too much and it could cause the avatar to wither. As for borrowing the avatar's power to enter the 9th floor, this thought had appeared in Wang Lin's mind for a moment. However, he felt how powerful the restriction on those stairs were, and the cost of going up was too great. It was not worth it to try at his current cultivation level. After measuring the gains and losses, Wang Lin gave up on the idea of going up to the 9th floor. He scattered the aura from his avatar and began observing the 8th floor. He could only choose one spell in the Soul Scripture Pavilion, and this was not something Wang Lin could change. His gaze swept by the 9 7-inch soul bodies. Wang Lin felt the Soul Fantasy Origin spell, the Multi-Layered Illusion spell, and the Soul Idol that made him smile bitterly among the 9 soul bodies here. As for the other spells, Wang Lin hadn't seen anyone personally use them, but he still scanned them. The Great Soul Sect focused on the Soul Illusion spell. Most core disciples could use this multi-layered illusion spell, but they couldn't display its true might. Once an 8-layered illusion was created, the power was heaven-shattering. Wang Lin's eyes stopped on the 3rd soul body among the 9. This soul body contained the multi-layered illusion. Only 8 layers. The limit for this spell is 9. Without the 9th layer, this spell is incomplete. Wang Lin frowned. It looks like the complete version is on the 9th floor. Wang Lin pondered and looked at the 7th soul body. The aura from this soul body was as powerful as the multi-layered illusion. This 7th soul body contained the Soul Fantasy Origin Yang Lu had used, and this spell was complete on the 8th floor. Wang Lin pondered a bit and began to deliberate between these two. Even if I don't go to the 9th floor now, I will eventually go there. After all, the multi-layered illusion is something I absolutely must obtain. In this way, there is no need to choose it now, and with the Soul Good, the Soul Fantasy Origin is more suitable now. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he made a decision. Once he made a decision, he wouldn't change his mind. He walked to the 7th soul body and sat down. His right hand formed a seal and pointed at the 7th soul body. The 7th soul body trembled and released a ghostly light that shrouded the whole 8th floor. It slowly drifted to above Wang Lin's head, making it look like he was cultivating. Waves of ghostly light strands came from the 7th soul body and entered Wang Lin's body through his orifices. Wang Lin's expression was calm, and as the smoke-like strands entered his body, he could hear a voice murmuring in his ears. It slowly imprinted in his soul and became second nature to him. Time slowly passed. Wang Lin sat in the 8th floor for 3 days. During these 3 days, he didn't move at all as he absorbed the Soul Fantasy Origin from the 7-inch soul body. He didn't know that his figure had already been deeply imprinted in mind of every disciple and that Ha had almost become a legend. To break through the 7th and 8th floors at once, although it had been done before, very few had done it. The newly appointed Elder Wang's identity and origin were subjects of speculation among the disciples of the Great Soul Sect. There were many speculations, but none of them fitted the truth. The few people that knew the truth wouldn't easily reveal it. Whether it was the sisters Fan Shanmeng or Fan Shanlu, or old ancestor Green Bull, they wouldn't bring it up. Even Yang Lu wouldn't mention it after a crack had been left in her Dao heart by Wang Lin to make her fear him. As for his identity as an ancient country cultivator, this information had been sealed by old ancestor Green Bull. He sent out an order of silence. The 3 days of time wasn't enough for the speculations about Wang Lin to die down. As the sun shined on the 4th day, Wang Lin opened his eyes on the 8th floor of the Soul Scripture Pavilion. His eyes seemed to be different from before, they now contained strands of smoke like a dream. As long as one took a look at them, they would be immersed in his gaze, finding themselves unable to escape. Soul Fantasy Origin. So it's like this, Wang Lin murmured and closed his eyes once more. After a long time, he let out a breath of foul air, got up, and walked down the stairs. Step by step, he walked down the stairs. He went down from the 8th floor directly to the 5th floor, the 3rd floor, until he reached the 1st floor. The spells of the Great Soul Sect, whether it is the Soul I Dao or Soul Fantasy origin, require one to split off a portion of their soul. That portion will communicate with the world to execute the series of spells. No wonder I couldn't study the multilayered illusion spell inside the cave world and could only borrow the ghostly sail to use it. When I didn't have the ghostly sail, I lost the ability to use the spell. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light as he walked out from the Soul Scripture Pavilion. He flew out from the rift outside the Soul Scripture Pavilion, and the moment he went out, the rift outside the Green Heavenly Peak closed. Old Ancestor Green Bull inside the Green Heavenly Peak watched Wang Lin leave and let out a sigh of relief. If Wang Lin had entered the 9th floor 300 years early, he really wouldn't know what to do. The first-generation ancestor divinated that Wang Lin would enter the 9th floor after being here for 300 years. Then, on the 9th day after he entered the 9th floor, the 3 major sects of the Green Devil continent would join forces to wipe out my Great Soul Sect and the Gui Yi Sect. Their goal is to obtain the suppressed Heavenly Bull soul under the Heavenly Bull continent. Esteemed Green Bull looked worried. Although he knew everything in advance and had made a series of preparations, the uncertainty Wang Lin had brought made him feel uneasy. The first-generation ancestor created the Great Soul Sect, and his background was extremely mysterious. Not even the later generation of ancestors knew who he was. There was a rumor that the Soul I Dao originally had 2 parts, and the other part was named Dao I Soul. Rumor has it that the first-generation ancestor was an extremely powerful Dao disciple of a hidden sect in the immortal astral continent, but in his generation, there were 2. They inherited the Soul I Dao and the Dao I Soul. Then, for some reason, the old ancestor gave up the chance to obtain the complete Dao. He left by himself and came to the Heavenly Bull continent that had just been created by the celestial ancestor. Then he created the Great Soul Sect here. There were also rumors. Esteemed Green Bull thought about the final rumor and couldn't help but tremble. He looked into the far distance, toward where the center continent was. The last rumor was something that all the disciples the Great Soul Sect had gathered. This information was simply too terrifying and was called a rumor instead. Rumor has it that in the Imperial City, the Imperial Teacher's lineage Dao art is called Dao I Soul. Esteemed Green Bull silently pondered and felt disturbed. After a long time, he let out a sigh and began to cultivate. Wang Lin flew through the Great Soul Sect. The Great Soul Sect was very large, so it was impossible to see the end at a glance. One could only see the mountains that pierced the heavens one after another. However, whenever Wang Lin passed one, divine senses would spread out to form figures that clasped their hands at him in a friendly manner. If others respected Wang Lin, then he would respect them back. Along the way, he smiled and clasped his hands back at his fellow sect members before returning to his burning peak. Fan Shanmeng was still outside the mountain. She was tired but wouldn't dare to leave. After closing in on the mountain, Wang Lin's gaze swept by Fan Shanmeng and his expression remained the same. When he stepped onto the mountain, his voice echoed. "Come inside, the cave is a bit messy. Clean it up and find a place to stay. Be ready to be called at any time." Fan Shanmeng lowered her head and nodded. She clenched her teeth and lightly walked toward the burning mountain. The heat wave made her sweat even more, and it took a long time before she could bear walking in. With an angry gaze, she looked at where Wang Lin went, before calming herself. She began cleaning up the caves according to Wang Lin's order. Wang Lin returned to the cave at the top and sat down. He waved his hand and 3 boxes appeared before him. These 3 boxes were the 3 gifts esteemed Green Bull had handed him. "This Great Soul Sect has been good to me, and I can consider staying here for some time before looking for teacher. I still don't understand the full situation of teacher's place. However, for me to suddenly appear, there must be some people that are not happy or want to cause a dispute. Therefore, I must increase my cultivation level before finding teacher." Someone at Wang Lin's cultivation level had a sense of dangers in the future. Although it was not as clear as those who could divinate the changes in the world, he still had some grasp of the situation. He vaguely had a feeling there was a great calamity gathering for him. As long as I have a high enough cultivation level, none of these calamities are a problem. Now I want to see what kind of gifts the person in the great soul sect that divinated I would appear left me. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and landed on the first box. The box looked very ordinary, as if it was a mortal object and was covered in dust. However, this box could prevent any divine sense from going inside, which was extraordinary. There was a withered, yellow seal that seemed to be sealing it. It gave off an ancient aura as if it had existed for far too long. It had been a long time, and no one had taken off the withered, yellow seal. Looking at the box, Wang Lin pondered, but then his eyes lit up and he tore off the yellow seal no one had taken off for countless years. The moment the seal was removed, Wang Lin clearly felt a strange force enter his body. It cycled once inside his body and quickly left as if it was judging if the right person had opened the box. The sealing paper seemed to age countless years in Wang Lin's hand, and it turned to dust before Wang Lin. Only the box floated motionlessly before Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was serious. When the seal was released, he felt a fluctuation from the box. This fluctuation was difficult to detect and easy to miss. He raised his hand and waved at the box. The box opened, revealing what was inside. It was a fist-sized black rock. This rock had an irregular shape and looked no different from a normal rock. However, it was covered in small holes and emitted faint fluctuations that spread out, filling the cave. Looking at the rock, Wang Lin frowned. He didn't know what it was. His divine sense spread out and extended into the rock. However, when his divine sense got close, it was absorbed into the small holes. Wang Lin remained calm and allowed the rock to absorb his divine sense. He eventually saw what was inside, and his expression changed. Wang Lin saw that this small rock contained immeasurable space. It looked like every small hole was its own independent space. This is a piece of space stone. This is my first gift to you. I know you just came from the cave world to the immortal astral continent, so you will certainly have difficulty opening your storage space. At the cost of one pocket of space in the space stone, you can take out one item from your storage space without damage. However, not more than once, otherwise, the cluster of space will become unstable and will then collapse. An ancient voice came out from the space stone. This is only one use of the space rock. It has another role, to nurture a heavenly Tao. I know you have an incomplete heavenly Tao with you. Nourish it here and it will slowly become complete. This is the first gift, I hope you like it. The ancient voice slowly winded down until it dissipated without a trace. No matter how much Wang Lin searched inside the space stone, he couldn't find a trace of that voice. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed and his divine sense withdrew from the space stone. He stared at it and pondered. He didn't act recklessly but put the stone to the side. His gaze landed on the second box. The seal was still on the box. When Wang Lin waved his hand, the seal rolled off. With a bang, the box opened. Inside, there was only one thing, a jade surrounded by fog. It looked like the jade was entirely made of fog. When it appeared before Wang Lin, the fog moved strangely. Staring at the jade made of fog, Wang Lin frowned. His hand reached out and the jade flew into his grasp. The moment the jade touched his hand, that ancient voice appeared in his mind. This is the second gift I prepared for you. This jade was formed by my lifetime of cultivating the soul Tao. It can allow you to see the changes in the immortal astral continent once, or it can divinate one thing for you. But only once. The voice disappeared. Wang Lin silently pondered and looked at the jade in his hand. He saw countless figures inside and felt like as long as he willed it, he could appoint a person to divinate with this jade. The first gift would allow Wang Lin to safely access his storage space and nourish his heavenly Tao. Although it was tempting, it wasn't necessary. However, the second gift was completely different and was several times more precious than the first gift. If what the voice had said was true and it could divinate the past and future of himself or someone else, then it was extremely valuable to Wang Lin. At a critical moment, this jade could save his life. Looking at the jade, Wang Lin's heart suddenly skipped a beat. After a long time, he withdrew his gaze and looked at the third box. The first was already precious and the second was far more precious than the first. I wonder what the third will be. Wang Lin put the jade to the side and his right hand grabbed the third box. The seal on the box disappeared and even the box itself seemed to decay. It turned into dust, revealing a drop of crystal-clear water the size of a fingernail. This drop of water seemed to be filled with fog and gave off a dazzling light that could capture one's mind. When one saw it, they would be lost in the world of the drop of water. A powerful water essence aura spread from the drop of water and filled the cave. This aura diffused across the mountain and almost made the flaming mountain show signs of extinguishing. When Wang Lin saw this drop of water, his expression changed and his pupils shrank. He stared at the drop of water and a huge wave was set off in his heart. This third item was something Wang Lin needed far more than the previous two. This was something Wang Lin had dreamed of. His water essence had only reached small completion on planet 5 elements and hadn't been able to progress. As a result, he was stuck at the late stage of spirit void. Even after his fire essence true body formed, it still didn't improve Wang Lin's cultivation level, it only made his spells more fierce. I already have 7 essences. Once this water essence becomes complete, I'll have 8 essences and reach peak spirit void. If I can get a 9th essence after this, I can merge them into one to break through spirit void and become an arcane void cultivator. At that time, although I will only be at the arcane void stage, with my 9 essences, I will be able to battle early stage void turbulent cultivators without the use of these grand spells. Once I reach the late stage of arcane void, I won't have to go through arcane turbulence one by one but all 9 in a row. Then I'll become a void turbulent cultivator. Wang Lin understood that his path of cultivation was completely different from others. He didn't have any Joss flames and relied purely on comprehension and plundering the heavens and earth. After he obtained 9 essence and entered arcane void, he would be vastly different from others. It could be said that the key to Wang Lin's cultivation was essences. Although essences sound simple, obtaining and completing them was very difficult. Looking at this drop of water essence, Wang Lin couldn't help but take a deep breath. This wasn't the first time he had obtained the water essence droplet in his life, it was the second time. The first time was from the mysterious Allseer. It was with that water droplet and his luck on planet 5 elements that his water essence had reached small completion. However, the water droplet in his hand was far beyond what the Allseer had given him. It was impossible to compare the two, like the bright moon to the firefly. This drop of water essence is the third gift I prepared for you. I refined 99 rivers in the heavenly river continent and also used a number of cultivators with water essences to nourish them. I don't know if your water essence will be complete after you absorb it, but even if it isn't, it should only be a sliver away. I hope you will like these 3 gifts. I hope you will shelter my great soul sect. Allow my descendants to return to the central continent. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. After the ancient voice disappeared from his mind, he grasped the drop of water. This was simply too important to him. Holding the drop of water essence, Wang Lin's divine sense rushed inside. After carefully searching it, he was confident there was no problem. His eyes shined as he looked up, and his gaze seemed to penetrate the cave. If I have the ability to protect the Great Soul Sect in the future, I'll do it. As Wang Lin's words echoed, a bolt of thunder let out a thunderous rumble outside the Great Soul Sect. As the rumble echoed, many cultivators were shaken. Old Ancestor Green Bull sat up and his eyes opened. His heart was shaken and his pupils shrank as he stared at the rumbling thunder outside. First generation ancestor? As the thunder rumbled, Wang Lin raised his left hand and formed a seal. A powerful pressure spread out from his body and shrouded the mountain. Essence true body, protect me. Wang Lin's voice echoed in the Great Soul Sect. His right hand formed a seal and the fire from the burning mountain gathered outside his cave to form his essence true body, then he sat down. At the same time, Fan Shanmen's eyes lit up and she looked up at the top of the mountain covered in fire. It was unknown what she was thinking. Wang Lin naturally wouldn't ignore Fan Shanmeng. If he dared to bring the woman here, then he naturally had a way of dealing with her. The moment he closed his eyes, his right hand grabbed the space stone. This video will end here.